The reason I wanted to come to Spain in general is because my Spanish teacher in grammar school told our class that we didn't need to learn how to use vosotros, it's grammatical tense in Spanish. They told us that we didn't need to use it because we never go to Spain. So they only taught everything else. And here I am, and I had to learn it again because she told us this wasn't an option. She told us it wasn't a possibility. And there are so many Black Americans of color here. There's so many English speakers here. There's so many people of color living in Spain who may have heard the same thing. And imagine the people who hear that as a child and they just take that for what it is. When we don't challenge the standards, we don't challenge the powers that be, when we don't challenge those ceilings that people try and put on us, we stay complacent and we stay stagnant. I want to inspire other women of color, other people of color to travel because I realize that even with the slightest snap, my whole trajectory would have been different. If I would have sat in that classroom in 4th grade and had that woman just tell me, this isn't gonna happen for you, 90% of the people in my class, who I still actually talk to, they still live in the States. Some of them don't have passports, some of them never left, you know? And I mean, all it takes is someone seeing you do something. And it can change the course of someone's life. And I do it because maybe someone needs that inspiration, maybe someone needs that approval, or they're on the fence and they're not sure. They don't know if it's possible. And even though everyone else has said no 100,000 times, all they maybe need is one yes and one example. Travel is a risk, but it's an investment in yourself. And take the chance on yourself. See what's out there for yourself because, again, reading things in books, hearing it secondhand, you deserve a first-hand experience. You deserve the chance to say, you know what, I tried this, I don't like it, but I can say why I don't like it. When we travel, we give ourselves a chance to write our own story because Black culture, especially American Black culture, is so widely exported that a lot of times people think they know what it means to be a Black American, what it means to be Black, what it means to be a person of color. And by traveling, we take our autonomy back and we write our own stories and we speak for ourselves. And there's not just one Black experience, there's not just one American experience. So every time we take the chance to travel to someplace new, even if we interact with one person, we're able to create a ripple effect in our history, in our timeline, and it makes such a difference. Someone asked me a while ago, like, how do you deal with racism in Spain? And I said, it's not pleasant when it happens. You know, the microaggressions or things that may come about, it's not pleasant. Racism isn't fun, no matter where you are. However, I am still an immigrant. I'm still a guest in another country that's not my own, speaking a language that's not my own, in a city that's not my own. And I understand more why they don't understand where I'm coming from because I'm not from here. I would, if I have to choose between like bad and worse, I would much rather meet people here who are curious about me and treat me as other than being treated as other in a country where I was born and who does have the cultural context. If I'm going to be treated like an immigrant in a country where I'm an immigrant, fine. Being treated like an immigrant or a foreigner or other in my own home country, completely different story, I think. Again, bad and worse when it comes to racism, I get that. But that said, I try and keep in mind that their cultural lens is completely different and they don't have the same context that we have as the United States. And it's unfair to project our cultural baggage onto them and expect them to know, especially if we haven't taken the time to inform them. What I try to remind myself of is the fact that there's no Spanish Martin Luther King Jr., and there's no Spanish Malcolm X, there's no Spanish Assata Shakur, there's no Spanish. They didn't have, our cultural baggage in the United States as Black Americans is not the cultural baggage that Spain has. Our cultural lens is not theirs. So when I come here, I try and remain conscious of the fact that they didn't have the civil rights movement. They don't have the same struggles that we had. That being said, don't let anyone disrespect you, period. But also take chances to teach and share versus constantly being on your guard and being defensive. It's hard to fight about something that they don't know about. and seek community because it is here. Also, just keep in mind that they don't see things the way that we do, and they may never.